let's get into the news. So the first piece here is actually a trailer that came out a couple of days ago. It came out on the 10th of October. The new Prey trailer, and this is interesting, but I guess it's kind of expected from Bethesda. So the trailer's titled Another You, YU, because that's the last name of the protagonist, and it's a trailer from the female perspective of Morgan Yu, who's the main character we already knew about. But this is if you played as a woman. So at the beginning of the game, it seems like you're going to be able to choose if you want your Morgan to be a man or a woman. Interesting thing. We'll talk about the trailer real quick, but in the description, it actually talks about the Typhon threat. Is the threat that's facing this game. So the aliens are weird, like spirit demon things that you see from the trailer, and the world or the planet or the space station that they're on is called Talos, which is pretty interesting, or Talos 1. So we got a couple of hints there at what the world is going to be. As well as they state, while the choice won't change the story or how you interact with the world, because Morgan Yu is Morgan Yu, and he or she will be defined by the choices you make, it's yet another way that Arcane is saying yes to the player. So it's basically saying that it won't change the game at all. Just, do you want to play as a man? Do you want to play as a woman? Cool. And it's obvious there's voice acting in the game. I think the female voice acting is great. Yeah, so as far as the trailer goes, I thought it looked really interesting. It kind of makes me sad that we're not seeing any new Dead Space. But I'm interested to see where Prey is being taken. I don't think it's going as survival horror as the first Dead Space was by any means, but I do think it's kind of leaning towards that way. Like we talked about before the show, I think the first Prey was a little bit more mystical than scary, whereas I think this one's going a little bit more horror. And I'm interested to see where that goes. As far as when this game comes out, I think I'm going to be playing as the female, just because hearing her dialogue in the trailer and hearing her perspective, it seems a lot more interesting to me. And plus, there's many games where I hear a guy talk, so it's kind of refreshing. What are your guys' thoughts on the gameplay trailer as a whole?
So do you remember a game last gen called Fear?
Yeah. I love Fear.
Yeah, I adored that game because I went on a really big horror game binge for a while last gen, and I absolutely loved that game. That's what it kind of made me think of. It's very different, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. Those like weird black shadowy monster things. I don't.
Yeah.
That just kind of gave me the vibe of those supernatural things you saw in Fear. So, but yeah, Prey looks really cool. I'm excited.
Is it just me, or do the environments kind of look very Bioshocky? Like Rapture was this very beautiful place that was torn down, and this seems like this is going to be the same thing. It gives me a lot of Bioshock System Shock vibes, so I'm pretty intrigued. Yeah.
Sure.
What about you, Jordan? What do you think about the trailer as a whole, and the fact that you will be able to play as a woman if you want to?
Yeah, I'm definitely down. I really like it when games allow you to choose between two protagonists. It does mean that they have to record the voiceover lines twice, but that's a cool thing for them to do. And besides that, yeah, I'm definitely getting Bioshock vibes. I honestly didn't even think of the Dead Space vibes until you brought that up, and just ripped a little piece out of my heart there. But yeah, since we're not getting a Dead Space as we know, or that we know about right now, hopefully this will kind of fill that gap for me. And of course, I'm a huge Bioshock fan, so Bioshock in space, which could be the next Bioshock game, since they kind of go underwater and then to the sky and then maybe to space. Bioshock in space is definitely something that interests me. So, yeah, I'm super excited about this game. They said 2017 at the end of the trailer, but I'm thinking, like, why are we still doing this, guys? Like, why are we still putting a year on the end of trailers when you have no idea if that's really going to be the case? I just think I'm wondering when developers and publishers are going to learn, just announce the release date 6 months out. Like, it's the internet age. There's not going to be any gamer that doesn't know about your game that's interested in it within those 6 months.
It's fine if they're right.
Well, also,
it's fine if they're right, but I mean, when was the last game you remember not being
exactly
delayed?
Yeah,
exactly. And if anything, at the very best, this is a year out. For me, I wouldn't mind if this was a trailer at E3 that's like they don't give a specific date. They say this will come out by the end of the year 2017 because then you're not beholden to a specific date. Then that's when you should put the 2017 at the end of your trailer at E3. I think this is way too far out. I agree with Jordan. The interesting thing here is so people are having an issue with early test plays of Dishonored 2 that as you can play as one of the two characters. You can play as Corvo or what's the girl's name? I forgot her name. Emily. And the issue people are having is that playing through the game as either of those characters doesn't really change anything. And I think this game is the same thing but a different perspective, and this is exactly the same character. So if you play as a woman or as you play a man, you wouldn't expect a different experience, right? Different dialogue options because you are the same character. People are having issues with Dishonored 2 because they're supposed to be two different characters, but the dialogue is essentially the same with like one filler line thrown in for each of those characters. So it's actually a big negative that's coming out from people playing the game early and saying that why would you have those two options in there if it wasn't different? Those aren't the same character. That's different than this, right? Where it's the same character and it doesn't matter because it should be the same dialogue. So we'll see.
I think with Dishonored, it's more gameplay differences, and I agree with you. They should have stressed that when they brought it up at E3, which I was surprised to hear about that too. But I definitely think if you play it twice, Dishonored 2, you'll have enough gameplay differences that you'll be satisfied.
So I guess I must have missed how they portrayed this, but to me this is kind of like a Fallout 4 situation or a Skyrim where you can pick male or female and you don't want it to have any differences. Now, in Skyrim, for example, if you pick a different race or if you pick like an Imperial and then go talk to some of the northern people, then they're kind of mean to you because of the race you picked. But if in the world that they create, your gender won't make a difference in how people react to you and how the game would play, then I guess.
Well, Dishonored is different because Dishonored is two separate characters. Like they're characters in the narrative. They're two separate characters. You know, they shouldn't be talked to the same. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, whether it's right or wrong, though, wouldn't it be more realistic for characters to not NPCs to react differently based on whether you're a man or a woman? Like you shouldn't. You know, treat someone differently just because they're male or female, but that is realistic, you know.
Yep, exactly. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens with the Prey. I'm excited. The game's getting me super excited. Like I said, we might not get Dead Space for a while, so this might fill that gap. I'm excited, so. Excited over and over again. The next story here
Dead
comes
Space blues.
Next story comes by way of Eurogamer. Cuphead delayed until mid next year. So everyone knows the awesome 1930s-ish Disney animation style game Cuphead. We've been waiting for it. It's been delayed till mid-2017. They said that they basically don't want to tarnish the scope of the game or their original vision, so they're kind of pushing it out. To me, I think that's just filler PR talk. I think the reasoning behind this delay is that they tried adding in platforming. It looked really bad. They want to have that platforming because they want it to be a full game. So I'd assume they're bringing in people that can make platformers, and I think they're retooling it from the ground up. I think they're going to rework all of the platforming levels because the flying levels looked really interesting. They looked really fun. The boss battles looked really solid. The overlay map looked really solid. But the platforming levels, that's a level-to-level basis of a game. It's going to be a platforming game. When people point that game out, it's going to be labeled Cuphead, a platformer game. So if your platforming isn't good, that's not going to help sell the game, right? So I personally think that this whole delay was 100% on the platforming. I think they're reworking it from the ground up because it didn't look very, didn't look very good. So what do you guys think? Was this a justified delay? Are you surprised by the delay? Why do you think it's getting delayed?
Yeah, take your time, I guess. Delays I don't even hear it anymore.
It's like we're just jaded as gamers, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just so jaded at this point because it's really disrespectful to the gamer is what it is. You know, it's just taking advantage of trying to get pre-orders and not necessarily for an indie game like Cuphead, but certainly in the AAA space, it's something where they are trying to capitalize on pre-orders and getting that hype out kind of ahead of everybody else. So, I'm definitely tired of these delays, but and I'm not even going to say anything like, oh, well, as long as it's good, I just think, just like I said with Prey 2, you just got to quit promising your game so quickly. There's absolutely no reason, because what you're doing is building up hype, and then you're yanking the rug out from gamers, and then their hype just fades away. It's not like, oh, well, that game got delayed and it's probably going to be better now, so I'm even more hyped. I don't think anyone feels that way. So another game gets delayed, and this trend continues, and I'm just wondering when it's going to change. I feel like it's going to have to change at some point because gamers are going to get fed up. But yeah,
Are they though?
It's just
That's 'cause
another.
if we don't, I mean, if we still buy the games, then you know.
Yeah, I mean, what do? You
Yeah.
can't like the developers are working as hard as they can. It's most likely a publisher choice to make these promises on when the release date's going to be and when you're going to announce the release date. And yeah, they are trying to make the game better. It's not like they're delaying it to like fuck it up, So it sucks. It sucks, and it's really not a thing that you have to deal with in any other industry. If a movie gets delayed, it gets delayed before you even realize that what the release date was going to be in the first place. And they kind of just change the date around without you even knowing. So it's really not something that you have to deal with in any other entertainment industry. So it sucks, and yeah, I just really hope that we're shifting away from that, but I guess we'll see.
In some happier news, switching off of that, by way of Kotaku, Valve is actually adding native DualShock 4 support to Steam, which is awesome because a lot of people know that the Xbox One and the Xbox 360 controllers for the longest time are the go-to controllers for PC just because they work easily, plug and play for the most part. And you have to actually go through a whole back-end thing to get PlayStation controllers to work. But remember, we got the dongle earlier this year, and now they're adding native 4K support for Steam. So as long as you have that dongle and you have your DualShock, you'll be good to go. And you'll be able to play, PC games with your DualShock 4, which is awesome.
So DualShock 4 already worked pretty well with PCs. You just had to download this tiny little program, and it worked well. But the problem is that pretty much every PC game is only made for the Xbox controller.
Yep.
Even if you're playing perfectly with a DualShock 4, your circle square buttons aren't, when they show the button on the screen, it's
Exactly.
not, it doesn't correspond, and that's kind of like but this is a good step towards maybe more developers, because it is on the developers to make their games work with both controllers, right? So maybe as they see more people using DualShocks on PC, they'll start doing that more, hopefully. So
And
I mean,
the
it'll
thing
be
is-
easy because as long as the game is on PS4, then they just have to,
it'll
literally,
take someone an hour.
take those.
I don't know,
they
but-
just have to take the little icon emblems and put them in the
Yeah.
game.
Exactly.
So they just probably never bothered because no one used DualShocks on PC until now.
Right.
Yeah. And
Congratulations, PC Master Race. You now are able to officially use the greatest controller of all time.
I don't know
in
about
my
that, but
opinion.
I don't know about
In
that,
my-
but
IMHO.
at least you get to use whatever controller you want now, and you're not have to go jump through a bunch of hoops and everything.
Jared, your favorite controller of all time is the GameCube controller, correct?
No, it has to be the 360. From like,
I thought you said that on our topic.
Well, yeah, from like a design standpoint, I think the GameCube is the best controller. But from like a usability, like everyday use, I'd have to say the 360 probably. I haven't touched a DualShock 4 though, so I have no opinion on it. I've never
I don't
used
know.
it.
I don't-
so.
Yeah.
360 controller, like the battery pack that jutted out, I hated that. It was still better than the DualShock 3 for sure, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already had a controller discussion, but yes, awesome this is happening. So props to Sony for getting that done, or whoever got it done, really, Steam. The last story here comes with GameSpot. You guys probably heard about this earlier this week. But Mass Effect Andromeda, its release date supposedly got leaked. There was an art book posting for Mass Effect Andromeda on Amazon, and it was listed for March 21st, 2017 release, and it stated in the description that it'll release alongside the video game. So people are speculating or seeing that obviously this means that Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be released the 21st of March. There was a second story that followed up where a leak for the European release date came out that it was the 24th of March. That kind of lines up 3 days after the American release. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I think it's probably spot on that this is the date that they're aiming for. We're waiting for the N7 event, obviously, a month from now to find out when exactly the release date is, but I'm pretty sure this is the release date. This is it outed, right? It's the official art book, and it's coming out the same day. and it's listed for March 21st. So, what do you guys think? Is this like a confirmed? Is this the date they're planning on?
Jared, can you feel the hype? Can you feel it?
Oh God.
Can you feel it? This is the date. Let's go. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Jordan, are you going to finish the rest of the games before this comes out?
Oh yeah, for sure. This is not a Persona situation we're talking about.
True,
Those
yeah.
games are actually manageable. Actually, as soon as I finish Blood and Wine, which I'm getting pretty close on, then I'll be starting Mass Effect 2.
Good one.
But anyways, I do think, I enjoy art books and buying, like the strategy guides and stuff. And 99% of the time, the day they're released is the day the game is also released. So this makes sense. It makes sense for the timeline, even though we haven't seen shit from this game, really.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that kind of is the speed bump for me, just that it coming out in March is still really soon for the amount of gameplay that they've shown.
Well, they're going to
November
blow it out of the
7th,
water.
They said
this
they're
event,
opening
yeah.
the doors. Yeah, they said they're opening the doors on the series. We'll see.
You're going to see it all. You're going to see it undressed, bent over, everything.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to violate Mass Effect, but anyways,
I'm interested to see if it's going to be like the Square Enix Final Fantasy event. Not that they give a false date for the release, but that that what if they show off, like, for the Final Fantasy event they showed off the anime and they showed off Kingslave and then they showed off other stuff.
A Mass Effect movie?
I don't know about that. That'd be cool, but I don't know if that's where you announce this. I mean, maybe a new line of novels. I think they already announced that, but maybe showing more about them.
We're already getting the novels.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where this takes us. I wouldn't be surprised. What if they do the thing where they said they're not working on, remasters, but what if at the N7 date thing they pull it's available in the next week or so for the Mass Effect remaster collection or something like that? That's still a possibility.
Yeah. They've said multiple times they're not doing that, so I really think they aren't, especially since it's backwards compatible on Xbox. And then
Only the first one is. Only Mass Effect 1 is backwards compatible.
Oh.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that's probably not going to happen because it's too close even for that.
I'm just dreaming. I'm just dreaming.
Just dreaming. But I do think a movie is a possibility because we've got the art book, we're getting the novels, and they've done a Mass Effect anime movie before. So it's not out of the question. And actually BioWare has done that for Dragon Age as well.
Yep.
So that's kind of a BioWare thing that they like to do. So yeah, I would really love a movie, whether it's 3D or 2D. I'd love kind of a Kingslave situation, and Mass Effect universe is totally ripe for that. So I think that's my biggest hope out of this N7 thing, because, I mean, think about it. Like, they've already announced the novels. They could announce like a comic book or something, but that's not a huge deal.
Exactly.
And what are they going to have an event just to show 20-30 minutes of gameplay and then be done with it? I think maybe you do need to announce something else other than just the game. Maybe you do need to throw in a little feature film or something.
True, but a counterpoint to that is, like you said, we haven't really seen anything, so I think they might want to just show us a whole lot. Maybe they are hearing from gamers that, like, we haven't seen anything. They're like, okay, we're gonna show you a ton. So
you guys, the dress is coming off.
Yeah, oh God, Dom, you're creeping me out this episode. My biggest fear is that they show too much because they've held it back for so long that they're like, oh, we really got to blow it out.
Not
so then,
possible.
like, what if?
I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah, it's a huge game, but then, yeah, what if we do see like an hour of it, and that's too much for any game? I feel like in one sitting. I wouldn't have wanted to see that much of The Witcher. And
people have uploaded like 45 minutes of Final Fantasy 15, which is insane to me. That's super surprising to me.
Yeah,
like,
and
stop.
I'm not really watching that stuff because I'm like, that's
exactly.
That's too big of a chunk to where I feel like
I want to be
just
teased.
need to play the game.
Yeah, I just want to be teased. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know about tease because that's what they've been doing. I want a steak dinner, but I don't want a 4-course meal, I guess.
The beauty of this is you can watch as much as you want and then turn it off at the point where you feel you're satisfied, which is cool too.
True.
You'd be like, okay, I've seen enough. They're still going on. They're going to show a bunch more stuff. I'm cool. I'm tuning out. So we'll see.
I'm saying we're going to get something, even if it isn't a movie. I think we're going to get some other form of, like entertainment media from this. Maybe like a little anime miniseries like Brotherhood Final Fantasy, something like that.
Exclusive to Netflix. Ooh, that'd be sick.
Oh, what if they were just like, 13 episode Netflix series comes out in December or something like that?
That'd be insane.
That would be like live action. Oh man. So yeah, I'm predicting we're gonna get a multimedia, some form of entertainment from that N7 reveal.